Hari Om. As we adore Bhagavad Gita and try to see the different shlokas where sometimes our heart, when the meaning is correctly understood, gets filled with enormous pride of a different kind. We do feel in our heart the heights, the lofty heights where the Bhagavad Gita goes. And perhaps it goes beyond that when we see how Gurudeva has always the bull's eye in front of him when he's trying to interpret the shlokas. This is paramparagata prasadika shikshana. We have a freedom to interpret Bhagavad Gita our way, but our way can never be the perfect way because the great main of realization see the right meaning in the shloka, and then not only they open up the shloka, but they give in our hands the keys to variety of treasures that the shloka holds. It is not a new thing for us. We have heard since our childhood a saying that work is worship. We by hearted it. We perhaps said it in few of our elocutions, declamations, but never pondered on it. Now perhaps is the time to think of that particular saying in little depth. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita is in one stroke, it is able to sweep a very large canvas of philosophy. That is why it is Sutratmaka. And at the same time, to blend the exoteric and esoteric philosophy all rolled into one. As you eat a delicious fruit, with each bite, when it moves inside the mouth, a new current of the taste is felt by the tongue. The rasa swad is there. In the same manner, if the shloka of Bhagavad Gita is pondered upon, the new fountains of meanings spring up in the pure intellect and the heart relishes it. The current shloka is directly has a bearing upon our own living. We are living and leading our life, but we have never stopped and pondered on a question: what is my role in life? I am behaving in a certain manner as if compelled by, impelled by my urge to live, but whether my living is in consonance with what is expected of me being a part of Lord's creation. The very fact that I forget that I'm a part of Lord's creation is itself an aberration in my living. I feel I am living a life that is produced by me. The world is something which I have created, and I dictate the rules of my universe. And the sum total of my living in this world has been enumerated by none other than the great sage Gautam Buddha in the first truth, that the world is full of sorrow. The world is full of sorrow for that person who relates to the cosmos or the creation as his own creation. However, the creation being the part of Alhadini Shakti of the Lord, who created this world out of he himself through his Kriya Shakti. So all of us are nothing but the constituent of the Goloka of the Sri Krishna. Once we know this, then the go or the dhenus of Sri Krishna shall happily give the milk and happily graze on the ground of Vrindavana. The gop and the gopis shall happily churn the milk, get the navanitam out of it, and shall go into the Mathura and distribute it to all. The existence of each other, for the sake of each other, because the Lord Krishna expects it that the Vrindavana shall go this way, ultimately results in enormous amount of happiness, as if the happiness has been distributed in enormous and multiple number of colors. Then in Barsana, the holy that is played is nothing else but the epitome of enjoyment in the spirit of common co-living, everyone living as per the ajna given by the cosmic deity. We all work in our life and get results out of it. We do understand that for us to gain something, we have to give something. In fact, giving and taking is the true nature of transactional world called Vyavaharika Vishwa, which is one of the satta of the three sattas as told by Acharya himself, Shankaracharya. As long as we are not in Pratibhasika Satta and Sushupti, it is very clear that we are in the Vyavaharika Vishwa or Jagruta Avastha. We shall always be in a process of giving and taking. I cannot breathe for a moment if the trees and the environment decides me to deny the access to the oxygen. I shall die of suffocation if the carbon dioxide that I emit with every expiration of my breath is not properly neutralized by the trees around me. And yet, forgetting this, when I do cut a tree, I am actually cutting myself. I am able to lead the life and live the life is possible not because of me, but because of mutual cooperation of enormous number of factors. The karyam that we do, which is called karma, the karyam that we do is possible because of karana. The instrument that makes it possible to perform a karya is called karana. And this karana is of two types: sadharana karana, asadharana karana. Every act that we do, every karma that happens, every karya that takes place, every function that happens has a karana. Karana is of two types: sadharana karana, asadharana karana. The sadharana karana, although the word sadharana, samanya, is taken very lightly in our normal conversation, it is very special. In common parlance, in Vyavahara, Vishesh is extraordinary, Samanya is ordinary. But in Adhyatma, Samanya is extraordinary, Vishesha is ordinary. So Samanya Karana is that Karana which is responsible for all the karyas that are happening. Yacchayavat sarva karyat, yacchayavat sarva karyasya karanam is called sadharan karana. What are those karana? If those are not there, no karya is possible. The first karana is Ishvara, second is Ishvara Ichha, third is Ishvara Jnana, fourth is Ishvara Prayatna, fifth is Kala, sixth is Desha, seventh is Adrushta, eighth is Pragbhava, and ninth is Pratibandha Bhava. 9 sadharana karanas, if they are not existing, you will not be able to function at all. And the 10th is asadharana karana. Asadharana karana is that karana which is responsible for only one function, that is called indriya. My karmendriya called hand is responsible for lifting something from the ground. So we feel hand is responsible for lifting. No, sir, the hand is only one asadharana karana. That is why asadharana karana is called karana. Karana means indriya. So when we work, we are not even aware that every work that I am doing, I am only a minuscule part of it, because remaining 9 common factors, if they don't exist, which are Ishvara, Ishvara Ichha, Ishvara Prayatna, Kala, Desha, Adrushta, Pragbhava, Pratibandha Bhava, if this does not exist, no karya can take place. If they all help me in doing a karya, then it goes without saying that the one who has helped me requires me to respect the helper. If Ishvara has helped me in doing a function, then I also owe something to the Ishvara. If Ishwar Ichha has helped me to do a function, I owe something to the Ishwara. If Ishwara Prayatna has helped me in doing something, I owe something to the Ishwara. If Kala has helped me to do something, I must respect the Kala to give something in return. Desh or the space has helped me, I must give back to the space. If Adrushta has helped me, then I must give back to the Adrushta. And each of them are given back in certain coins. The Ishvara is given back in the coin of good deed, Sad Achar. Sadachar, Sadguna Vardhana is giving back to Ishvara, because Ishvara gives us the ability to perform in Sadvichara. So when it is performed as per his wish, he gets what he wants back. Whenever we do not perform anything as per Lord's wish, it is called Chitta Malinata. Malinata means something that is done in aberration or in contravention to Lord's wish. Then how do you get rid of it? By doing Chitta Shuddha Karma. Karma that does a Chitta Shuddhata. Which karma does a Chitta Shuddhata? Anything where I is absent is a Chitta Shuddhata karma. How can I make a karma where I am absent? By only remembering others. So when I do the work for others, mine shall be done. When I do what I do, when it is for others, then I am not doing anything for myself. Lord does for myself. Our common thinking is Anybody who is in distress, let the Lord look after him and I will look after myself. This is 360-degree opposite, 180-degree opposite of what should be the thinking. The thinking should be, I shall be doing everything for the constituent of my creation, all my things around bhutas, chara as well as achara, and I shall not be doing anything for myself, because to do for myself is Lord's job. I cannot usurp anybody's job. My welfare is Lord's responsibility, and my responsibility is to look after the Lord's creation to the extent possible for me. If this is once understood, then it becomes easy that all the 9 asadharan factors create a potential. Gurudeva has, master of English as he was, Angla Vidya Vibhushit. Being a pronounced master of English, he has used the word potential. Potential means it is still not kinetized. All the ingredients of a beautiful dish that you're going to prepare are there on the table, laid for you by the Lord. Now, what is important is how you cook it. That is being the reason you cook it in the manner of seva. Gurudeva has used the word law of seva. There is only one law supreme in the world. Vivekananda emphasized it again and again. Ramakrishna thoroughly talked only about law of seva. Our birth is for seva. What is seva? Any act, thinking done where there is no I into it is seva. Before the food goes into the mouth, if the thought goes to them who do not have food for last 24 hours, this is seva through thoughts. Once the thought comes, then the action automatically follows. With 2 soiled hands, when they beg for some food, and I walk past the beggar holding a wallet full of wad of notes, it becomes meva, not seva. A seva would mean that the heart getting wrenched not by the chara. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had excruciating pain in the heart when somebody walked on the lawn. The grass, the blade of grass getting impounded by the feet of some people walking on it can also cause pain, because the blade of grass is my companion in this world. This is called heightened sensitivity of oneself. And Gurudeva has used a beautiful statement here where they say that in this creation, everyone is doing their own job as per the Lord's ways, except the man. Pushanne karshe yamasurye prajapatya vyuha rashmin samuha tejaha. In Ishavasyopanishad, the prayer goes like this: O Rashmin, Vyuha Rashmin, a sun, with the help of thousands and millions of your rays, you are nourishing this earth without asking anything for return, without bothering for what the people are worshipping the sun or not, or cursing the sun. That being the spirit of the sun, if SUN sun has the spirit, then the SON son of the God that we are, we have much more responsibility than that. So Devan Bhavayata, you, the sacrificer, the Yajnakarta, nourish. How do you nourish? By oblation. Whom do you nourish? Devan. Who are the Devan? The one that created a possibility of me working, the one who offered on platter the potential to fructify me. Anena, anena, variety of sacrifices, not one. Oh, you become a mother, your yajna is to nourish the child. Oh, you become a father, your yajna is to nourish the family. While nourishing the family, don't think I did it. I gave back, nourished devas who presented themselves to me in the form of my family. He is not my child, he is Lord's child. Lord gave a child in my hand through the womb of my wife so that we learn how to give back. First, learn to give back to your own family. If you master the art of giving back the way it is expected, expand and extend the giving to the surroundings. Because it is not your family which is sustaining you, it is another group of devas working in an organization called company, where you work, where you give your efforts to serve the company. Enter, you are nourished by, on the first of every month, some nourishment comes. In the transactional world, if you are a CEO of an organization, you say, you must give me back because company is not giving you a free lunch. How can you shirk from your duty? Because I pay you. Sir, if this is true for one small company, then such a big, vast corporate is being run by the Lord. Won't he ask you that, what are you doing? How are you paying me back? You have taken enough loans and advances from me. You have not returned anything back. And if you do not return anything back, then you shall return again and again till the debt is paid. If the debt is paid right, precisely the way it should be paid, then the Lord realizes that he is not only fit for becoming a constituent of my creation, but he can also become fit for becoming me. So the one who gives back the nourishment and then it gets a nourishment from the Lord, he keeps on moving forward. How does he move forward? If I give to everybody around me with the hope that I shall be getting only pleasure and happiness and sukham, I shall be born in Swargam, where there'll be only happiness. People don't become old, people don't die, they're constantly enjoying happiness. I shall be going there because I was asking for prayers. Those who do Nishiddha karma shall continue to repeat the birth and death. But those who are doing the Suvidya karma, but with the Kamyata in mind, shall be given the higher realms for experience, such as Swargam, because the nourishment is paid back with the higher coins. But the one who has decided only to nourish the people around, only to nourish the Lord's creation, and not accepting anything for himself, to an extent that even the basic amenities are also not even thought of, to the extent that even the desire to have anything for himself is gone. Such an individual now migrates from being the constituent of the creation towards the creator. In that particular journey of Shreyas, I give to the Lord ekagrata. Lord gives me back higher realization. That is again give and take. As long as karma and upasana is there, the upasana is not meant for the world, it is meant for yourself. But in yourself also there is a yajna. In the yajna, the oblation now is to give the ekagrata to the Lord. The Lord bestows back. What does he bestows back? The higher realms of consciousness. That is called Tat Ishvara Pranidhanatva, the sutram in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. If this giving keeps on increasing and taking keeps on decreasing, to the extent that the taker does not realize that he is in a position to take, that means he completely forgets himself, ahankaralaya. Then what happens? The Lord realizes he is no more fit for give and take phenomena. He is more fit for potentiality phenomena. So he is picked up by the Lord in his own bosom and he becomes Lord himself. Once he migrates to the Lord's level, then only one thing he knows: nourish, nourish, and nourish. Give, and give, not to take anything. Why not take anything? Because everything is already available. The one who has everything available can only give because there's nothing to take. Gurudeva reached that stage. So all his life, didn't take anything. In fact, there was nothing to be taken, but there was so much to give. So he chose the best amongst the what he had to give, and he chose the best jewel of his treasure, Bhagavad Gita, and kept on giving. This is called Paraspara Bhavayantaha. How long it will continue, sir? It shall continue till you have only to give, nothing to take. Paraspara bhavayanta shreyaha paramaha avapsyatha. Paramashreya will come to you. So man alone, Gurudeva has very clearly said, the law of seva is faithfully observed, followed by every sentient and insentient member of cosmos instinctively, sahaja, except man alone is given the freedom to act as he likes, and to the extent he disobeys the universal law of sacrifice, yajna, to that extent he comes to suffer. Didn't we get the master key to unlock where the suffering is? The suffering is to disobey the Lord's cosmic law. The Lord's cosmic law is to live for others in the law of seva. Now it is clear why we all are suffering. When there is a donation to be given, even though the Lord has given enough amount of money, 2 apartments, 1 plot, and a fund investment and mutual fund and but 5 rupees for Chinmay mission is a difficult thing to do, sir. Then I am sorry, you are a stain. Shankaracharya has used the word taskara. We are all taskara, chori karne wala. Nihayati chor. I want. Nothing to give, sir. Even in a vyavhar, if somebody asks you, can you lend me some money? I am in difficulty. Yesterday only, I am actually running very short. Why? Every time we are shirking from that duty. The world is in a, you were also a beggar. We all are beggars. Don't we beg for more and more? If everybody begs, who will give? Unless there are givers, there'll be only beggars. And Lord's creation is not to create only beggars. Lord's creation is such that everyone who wants something gets that. Dhaneshwar Maharaj in his Pasayadan has said, Jo je vanchilato te laho, the one pranijata, the one who wants anything, Lord, please give him whatever he wants. And Lord gives. If that is the case, then whatever you desire, Ishtan Bhogan, whatever you desire will be given to you. Vah Deva Dasyante. Why do you think we are Das? He Dasyante, he gives us. That is why we are slaves, receivers. But once you receive, I am born as a human being. Didn't he give you the human birth? Forgotten, completely forgotten, behaving like animals. He made you stand on 2 feet, you were on 4 feet. Forgotten. Moment you get 2 feet, immediately what is my runa? One should understand. You can't carry on debt. If you are have too much debt on your head, you shall be doomed. And we are carrying debt on our head. That society which allowed me to get education, have I gone back and seen that some others get educated the same manner? No, I am done. I take pride in telling that I came from a village. There was nothing. I went to a school, there was no light. Yes, sir, agreed. And still you studied. Because of what? Not you, sir, because everybody cooperated through the potential called Devas. It is only a country called like India where even today in the evenings, when you go to villages, when the light is switched on, they do namaskaram. One white person, a fair colored person, was surprised to not see that because they don't understand. The light also came because of His grace. Everything is happening by His grace, is ingrained in us, but we don't implement it. Taihi dattan apradayebhyo. That if He has given and you do not give, and you bhungte, you want only bhoga, but no tyaga. No bhoga is possible without tyaga. Anybody who does bhoga without the tyaga becomes a stena, a taskara, a person who is a dacoit, and then there will be a punishment awaiting. And the punishment is, Lord says, this person is not fit to give, so deprive him. And then the same king becomes a beggar and becomes absolutely tired because nobody is giving him food. We feel very sad when we look at the beggars, but at the same time, we do not understand he has come to this beggary simply because of his own karmas, where when Lord has given so much, he decided not to give it to anyone. The very fact that Lord has given you what He has given you is meant for distribution to somebody else. If there is no postman, how the money order will come to you? So the postman cannot forfeit the money order. What will happen, sir? You will be imprisoned. We all are forfeiting our money orders. That is the reason Lord says He is not worth giving any money to handle. And then in the next birth, when we start begging on the street, we feel very bad. Oh my Lord, why the Lord is not kind to me? How the hell can He see me in such a pain? Why can't He doesn't have some sympathy about me, some kindness about me? Sir, He was very kind, but you kicked the kindness, so he kicked you in turn. That is the rule of the cosmos. Being a constituent of the cosmos, if you do not pulsate and resonate with the cosmos, being an odd sounding sura, the wire will be tightened, and the tightening will be painful, sir, because the instrument of Lord has to have a sumadhura bhajanam. You cannot be a discord sura in that. Ye tan tat tambureka. Kabir says this body is like a tambura. Rachat tar marodat khunti nikasat rag hazureka. It is Huzur's rag. It is the whole music should be vibrating through this body. And how does the Lord music vibrates through the body? When we precisely follow what the Lord wants us to do, and that particular secret of our own happiness, and we are the makers of our happiness as well as our miseries. Stop blaming the Lord for the miseries and stop accepting all the good things. You are the creditor. I did it. Anything good, I did it. Anything bad, why the Lord is not looking at me? Stop crying. Lord hates people who cry because those are the ones who have shunned the God. Accept if the mistake has been made, gloriously accept it. Fair enough. God, I'm your son. I did make a mistake, but now I shall not. And that now can be now, right now. If that happens, then the hammer that was thrown at us, which hit our skull very badly, the one who threw that hammer of Lord was Gurudeva. He threw that hammer called Bhagavad Gita in our skull, the dull, stony skull. And if it really changes the thoughts within, then Gurudeva's job is done and the Lord's job is done. And then we all will say, let thy be done. Let thy be done, meaning let everything go as you wish. Why? Because it is your wish that runs the universe, not my wish. And your wish is to keep nourishing others. Others are nothing else but the opportunities. That is why when Mahatma Gandhi in November 1946 in Naukhali was visiting absolutely majority Muslim areas, his path was strewn with broken glasses. Even the fecal matter was thrown in his way. He kept on walking, kept on consoling, kept on giving the love to everyone, kept on telling, please do not fight. All that he did, he put his life across for others. As a result, how did Lord nourish him? By making him sit on the lap of himself. And that is why these are extraordinary people, saints, rishis, and munis, who have completely sacrificed everything. The unknown sacrificer who wrote Bhagavad Gita, what has he given? He has given so much to the mankind for centuries. This is called nourishing the devatas. Hari Om.